Hello, and welcome to Every Day is Funny, the meditative morning show about newspaper comics. You know, doing a podcast, I have quite a luxury of thinking out ideas ahead of time, writing things out, workshopping them to myself, editing what doesn't work out. But I want to put myself to the test. Podcasters never have to think quickly on their feet when they can edit stuff out. And I want to stay creatively sharp. That's like one of the whole ideas of doing this, right? Doing this every day. And so I found online a random noun generator. And it's going to give me 3 nouns. And I'm going to come up with a premise for a movie. Because that's kind of what I do on this thing, is I'll come up with a lot of premises for movies. I'm going to come up with a premise for a movie. Then we'll go through a meditation for 1 minute. Breathing in one of those words, breathing out that word, breathing in the second word, out the second word, third word, repeat. And then at the end of that minute, I'll reveal whatever premise idea involves those 3 things that I came up with. No editing. I only have the 1 minute to come up with something. And if you join me, if you feel like doing the same, close your eyes, repeat the words with me, come up with a premise, and send the premise idea you come up with to everydayisfunnyshow@gmail.com. I think this is a fun way to combine the meditation, other people sending in ideas. It could fail miserably, but let's see how it goes. I'm gonna hit the generator. I'm gonna read the words and then start the timer. So join in if you'd like. All right, generate. Height, weakness, sun. Height, weakness, sun. Sun is spelled S-O-N. And timer is now. Height. Weakness. Okay. The 1 minute timer is gone off. And I'll tell you, it took a few seconds, but a premise came to mind. And I'm not quite fully understanding what I'm thinking, but let me talk it out. This couple has a son. Let's call him Little Timmy. Little Timmy's in middle school, and he wants to join the basketball team. Let's make him in high school. And he wants to join the basketball team. But he's just too short. And he hates his life because his height is his weakness. And he goes home and prays. Of course he does. Little Timmy's religious, the whole family is. And that's cool. And the next day he wakes up tall as can be. Not like a building, but more than Yao Ming. And you would think this would go in like a silly direction, but we play it deadly serious. And he, of course, now can play basketball for the team. He doesn't get his shots blocked. But the height, the new height, is also his new weakness. And he can't go to school. He gets bullied all the time. It's played very seriously. We see like a young kid whose head is touching the high school roof in a very melodramatic sequence of scenes. What happens in the end? Does he cry enough that God brings him back to normal height? It seems too easy. Doesn't seem like a move God would pull. I think he lives with it. I think he goes around saving cats from trees, changes his dream from basketball to things that are helpful with insane amounts of height. And I think he runs into a female who did the same praying mishap and they fall in love. And it's going to be called Tall Tales. Thank you. Well, that was okay. I didn't edit anything. So let's see how that comes out. Now, if you join me in that meditation, feel free to send in whatever you came up with to everydaysfunnyshow@gmail.com. All right, let's get to the comics. Let's start with some Todd the Dinosaur. We see Todd's human friend chilling on a towel on the beach. He hears crunch, 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 crunch. He yells, "Todd, stop eating that boat." Todd from out of frame says, "I'm not eating the boat." Then Todd appears. He says, "Barnacle?" The human friend says, "No thanks, I'm trying to cut down." Why does the human friend look upset? He wasn't eating a boat, right? He was just eating the barnacles. And how did he mistake those little barnacles Todd's holding for a entire boat? It seems like finally Todd's the normal one in this relationship, and this kid who can't see gets upset when his dinosaur friend isn't actually eating a boat. I think he's the problem here. I still do think, I said it before, I really think this comic should be covering more aspects of the fact that he's a dinosaur and not that he's hungry. I mean, fine, every once in a while cover the fact that he's a hungry guy all the time, but that's not his main attribute. It's just not an interesting comic if the people aren't equally freaked out that he's a dinosaur, in my opinion. I don't know. Grappling with the existential dread of mortality when all of your other kind are already extinct sort of thing. That could get into some very interesting deep territory with still room for humor. But this comic wants to cover none of that. They just want to find various things for Todd the Dinosaur to eat and have the human react like it's a living. Come on. All right, let's check out Dennis the Menace. We haven't in a hot minute. All right, we see Dennis talking to his neighbors and a young girl. The neighbors say, "Dennis, why can't you be more like Gina?" Dennis says, "Well, for starters, I'm not Italian." It's pretty good. What an awful situation. I get that Dennis is a menace, and he's being kind of a smart aleck with his pose in this comic and with his comment. But also, what scenario is this where the neighbors are sitting down on their couch, you're joining them near the couch standing by it with another young girl, and the neighbors decide to point out why you're not as good as the other kid? It's kind of just a weird scenario to put Dennis in, no matter how much he sucks, isn't it? And the old woman is smiling. That's an okay thing to say. Everyone's just acting very smug. And Dennis is kind of just like, yeah, I get you hate me. I'm going to say a smart aleck comment, and then this will go in a cycle of hatred and sadness for the rest of our days. And none of us seem to want to break that cycle. We're just going to keep hating each other, never really talk it through. Even though I'm the kid, you're the adult. Part of the blame, maybe most of the blame, seems to be on yourself. But sure, I'll go along with this. For starters, I'm not Italian. But yeah, Gina's great. What does Gina do so great that Dennis doesn't do? Throughout his menacing, Dennis has at least proved he's a very creative, smart kid. Like saying, well, for starters, I'm not Italian. You think Gina could come up with that? Zinger? God, no. The author would never allow something like that to come out of Gina's mouth. I don't know anything about Gina. I don't know her relation to any of this. As far as I know, there's a random girl who just walked off from the street into this neighbor's house. The old man says, hey, I want to prove a point. What's your name? Come stand by me for a second. She says, Gina. And then they just played this scene out, and then Gina walks out. For all I know, that's the situation. I forget what I was talking about. All right, let's move on. Rex Morgan. It seems like, based on yesterday, we are starting to follow a new side plot, which I'm not necessarily happy about. And this side plot involves the bully's father getting a call from the principal of the school to tell him that the bully, his son, is missing. Very strange subplot we're getting into right now. So let's see what's going on with that today. All right, we see the dad on the couch, off the phone with the principal, holding a big bottle of booze. He says, stupid kid, always causing me trouble. I'd send him to live with his ma if I knew where to find her. Oh, and then he just chucks the whole bottle of booze into the corner. It crashes. Meanwhile, the bully is walking in through the door. We can see him. And the dad says, wait till you get home, you little jerk. You got a pounding coming. Okay, some child abuse on the way. This is odd. I mean, I was right, I guess, in yesterday. The principal asked, where would the kid go? Like, trying to think of spots where he might be found. And I was like, isn't he a new kid? Does he really have spots to go? So yeah, it seems like he's just coming back home. But now we're trying to get some sympathy for him going, I guess, because he has a bad home life. This dad is not good at keeping track of people. He doesn't know where his kid is. He'd send him to live with the mom if he knew where she was. This dude just needs GPS on these people. He has no sense of place, no sense of the people in his life. Man, he really just threw the entire bottle of booze just to... Like, he doesn't even know the kid is entering the room. He just did this out of his own aggression. And he didn't really sound that angry in the past two things. More just like a muted frustration and a kind of not caring. But now I guess that the kid's missing. He's realizing this is his responsibility and he doesn't want to deal with that. So he throws a bottle at the ground. I wonder if the kid is gonna stay. I would do like, if I was this kid peering in the doorway at that, basically just hearing your dad say, you got a pounding coming, not knowing you're there, I would kind of Don Knotts this one. Was it Don Knotts in Three's Company? When he goes like, I'll come back later. I would pull one of those. All right, let me think of what to comment. Okay, continuing on the movie premises trend I got going on today, I'm gonna comment. This seems like a great setup for a movie where the dad and bully travel cross country to find the mom. Originally, it's to pawn him off on her, but after some wacky misadventures and bonding, they realize they may just need each other more than they thought. Send. I don't really believe that the dad's abusive, but it's nice to think in optimistic movie terms every once in a while. Okay. Time to wind down for this Saturday, July 6th. Hope you have a wonderful beginning of your weekend. And remember, every day is funny.